We're survivor-centric. I fully believe that our job is to empower survivors, give them the resources and tools and contacts they need to get through this event in their life. But we're absolutely not the ones with the answers. Survivors know what's best for them, and we're just here to empower them along that journey. My name is Rettenmaier. I'm a crisis intervention specialist for Women Helping Women, and Women Helping Women is an advocacy organization that exists to serve survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and stalking. So 365, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, if a survivor walks into a hospital, a police station, our office calls our hotline, says that they've been sexually assaulted, someone from our agency responds. We go and we advocate for survivors as they have the sexual assault collection exam done. We can accompany them to court. We provide support groups, and we refer out for services that they may be looking for, like counseling or additional medical attention, things along those lines. I consider my job a little bit different from what the university provides in several ways. Number one, we're a confidential service. So if a survivor comes into our office and says, you know what, this is what happened to me, I'm really not interested in reporting through the university if they happen to be a student, or through the police, that's absolutely their choice. We're not mandated to pursue any sort of a disclosure further. There are certain requirements where we would be required to contact an agency to help protect someone, but we're not necessarily required to move forward with any sort of share. And with that also, we're a little bit more mobile than Miami's services, so we can go to court with a survivor. We can make sure that she's not alone, and she or he, and make sure that they are having their wishes respected. If a survivor comes into our office and she or he is a minor, we would be required to contact Child Protective Services. If a person was homicidal or suicidal, we would be mandated to act on that. Elderly and or developmentally disabled, those would be the other two criteria. But other than that, this is a safe space, and we're really survivor-centric, and if a survivor doesn't want to pursue further, then that's absolutely their choice. So if someone comes in and wants to talk, first thing I'm going to try and do is gauge why they're here. So try and get a little bit of the story. If we met with that person in the hospital, we have a little bit better idea of when the assault occurred and what sort of an aftermath they're looking at. But if someone comes in and we haven't met with them in the hospital and they're not speaking with the police, just trying to get a little bit of information from him or her about what brings them in, how long it's been since their assault, what sort of things they're struggling with, and how we might be able to help. So we offer support groups here. If they are considering going through some sort of a reporting process, letting that person know that if they want to pursue that, they're not alone. We're happy to accompany. If they're looking for counseling services, we can give them county options for that. We can help them get additional medical attention if they need, and things like that. So what they're interested in pursuing and not, and really where their focuses of attention are. So it is 80% of sexual assaults are committed by someone the survivor knows. That could be a family member, that could be a friend, that could be an acquaintance. But if this is a situation where someone is feeling unsafe in their home, unsafe in their friend group, unsafe in general, we can suss out safety plans with that person so that by the time they're ready to leave our office, that they're feeling like they're entering into a planned and safe space. At any given time, a handful of the people that are attending our groups and people that we're working with as an agency in an office are Miami students. And a handful of people that come to our support groups are Miami students. And what that means is they're peer-led. So I lead a support group, another staff member in our agency leads a support group. Currently we run 2 each week, and they're for sexual assault survivors. We're looking to expand that possibly more in the future, but it's really interest-based. So we would love to be able to maybe open an indirect survivor support group. So someone, a friend or a family member that is walking through this process with a survivor, because we work with them too. We see family members in the hospital. We see family members at police stations. We want to make sure everybody is getting adequate support. But what that means is you come to support group and you're in an environment where you're not alone. So many times survivors are going through this process and they feel like they are absolutely alone. And we're really able to break down that barrier collectively when they come into our office and say, look, your experience is unique. We want to validate what you've been through, but you're not alone, and help's available for you. Survivors, just like anyone else, are going to have ups and downs with their walk through this journey. And when you're going through a down, we need to have a plan in place for how you're going to cope with that. So if you're in a really bad spot one day, let's make a list of things that you can do that are going to help you feel better. And they're not necessarily these like brain buster, like this is what you need to do. It's really a conversation. So what do you do when you want to relax? Music helps me. Okay, well, maybe turning on this music would be helpful. A certain TV show, going and being with a certain friend, being in nature. Baking, gardening is a huge one that helps people, journaling, things like that. And I find, and we've found, that having a plan in place, I can do X, Y, and Z when I'm feeling this way, is a comfort to survivors. So a coping skill can really be as simple as going to the library, if that's something that helps you get into a centered place. I think, in my experience, it centers somewhere around fear most of the time. Fear of retaliation from the perpetrator, or, like I said, 80% of assaults are committed by someone you know. So this is, if you bring charges against someone, it's potentially your friends might know, your family members might know, and they might have myriad responses to that. So fear of not knowing how people will respond, fear of additional loss, fear of not being believed. And, we work through those fears with people. Yeah. So it's like a broken record. We have 3 things that every survivor should hear when they come to our office. And 1 is that we believe you. 2 is that it's not your fault, and 3 is that help's available. And we tell them that in the hospital, we tell them that in this room, we tell them that in this office. Hopefully, by the time we've worked with a survivor over a course of time, they've heard it every single time they've seen us. That would be ideal for us, but that's our broken record, those 3 statements.
And what does getting that message across do for them? How does that?
Well, I would hope that extended exposure to it helps pound it home. A lot of survivors that we work with suffer from this plaguing guilt or self-doubt about the assault, and as a society it's hard to come forward, and it's hard to go through a reporting process, and it can feel at times like, wow, I'm being asked all of these questions and I feel like all of the weight of this assault is being put on me. And with the weight of it being put on you, that can make you feel like it's your fault. It's absolutely not your fault. No matter what the circumstances were, we're here to help, and you're not alone. That's the support group mantra, absolutely. I would say that there are places you can go where nothing has to happen by you talking. So we're a confidential service. If you want to talk about what happened to you, you can come and do that, and it's not going to leave this room. You can call our hotline. You can get in touch with our agency. Someone can meet with you. And where it goes from there is your choice. If you are suffering from some sort of fear that it's going to be pursued further, you definitely don't have to have that fear in our office.
And what was the hotline number?
Oh boy. Okay, so 513-381-5610. And we have an 800 number too. I can post it. I can give it to you. But yeah.
Yeah, and so basically just any closing thoughts, anything else that I haven't asked that you think is important to get across?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right, good stuff.
Cool.
We're all set.
Yep, perfect.
All right.
Yeah.